all they really want to know is what's in it for them when they're on your homepage. They don't really care about you initially because they just want to know, can you solve my problem? And if it doesn't clearly articulate that through a video with no sound, which why would it? Because it's got no sound. Then realistically, they're not going to get an answer to, can you solve my problem? So that's probably the main reason why they don't convert, and all the other reasons that we just said as well. To me, it's like an image slider. You know how some websites, a lot of e-commerce do it too, where they have an image and it has products and some text, and then it just rotates automatically to the next set of images with different text and different call to action. To me, it's a lazy way of presenting your content. Instead, you want to just lead with your most popular content or products, whatever it is, but make sure that it's all about what's in it for them and reiterates, what is unique about your company and how you're different to your competitors and how you can help them essentially.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. It's my pleasure to have Greg Merrilees back with us. We're doing another case study, another behind the scenes on a website revamp, both from a conversion and SEO perspective. And I think this one's going to be really compelling. We made a huge impact for this particular company. It's a law firm, Yosha law firm. And let's get into it. But first, let me introduce Greg. If you haven't seen or heard any of our previous case study episodes, Greg Merrilees is the founder and CEO or managing director of Studio One Design. They are an incredible design firm based out of Australia. I've been using them for over a decade for many of my clients, for all my websites, my wife's websites. They're my secret weapon. So you probably are sick of hearing that if you've listened to any of the other case studies, but actually take action, talk to them, get a quote, get an estimate for working with them, because it's a game changer. Anyway, so Greg, welcome back on the show.
Thank you so much, Stephan. What an intro. I love it. And you guys are game changer when it comes to, driving traffic and boosting people's authorities. And that's one thing we're going to talk about today is you don't just do traffic. Like, you do so much more than that. I think it's kind of underrated. If somebody thinks of you as an SEO expert, that's just a small part of the equation. So we'll unpack that, how you help this client today.
All right, awesome. And so we've done a local services business in the past. We did Ware landscaping. So if our listener or viewer wants to listen to that before this episode, by all means, but we'll recap some of the key concepts in this episode if they missed that one, just so they don't, so they're not discombobulated. So we're going to cover in this personal injury law firm website, conversion, SEO, brand, positioning of the founding partners, and a bunch of other stuff. Like how do you want to frame this next, 30, 40, 50?
It's all of those things, plus it's about brand positioning. That was probably one of the, obviously all the traffic things you guys did and boosting their authority, but also, the brand positioning piece was a big one from a redesign perspective.
Yeah. And so we started doing SEO first of all, let me give the background on how we got this client, because it's relevant. I've been doing these 4-hour long hot seat workshops, virtual workshops for Jay Abraham and his clients for years and years now. And Jay Abraham's cousin is Brandon Yosha. So that's how we got to know Brandon. He attended several years of my workshops. And then on one of those years, maybe it was the second, maybe it was the third year, he decided to contact me and work with me. So he's a very savvy guy when it comes to online marketing. He has a SEMrush account. He's in there figuring stuff out, and very savvy. He applied some of the things that he learned from me in previous workshops, but now he was ready to work with me and my team directly. And this view you're showing on the screen is of the old website, which we started with. We did some SEO optimizations on and made an impact, really did make an impact. But this was not a differentiated website in the personal injury space. This was just like cookie cutter. Everyone else is doing the same sort of site. So it wasn't distinctive, it wasn't preeminent, and that's a key concept for Jay Abraham, and Brandon knows all about it, preeminence. And when we recorded the case study interview of Brandon several years ago on Marketing Speak, which we'll include a link in the show notes for this episode, we talked about preeminence and how important it was. So with that said, why don't you chime in with how you guys got involved? What sort of things were the key issues that needed to be dealt with in the redesign?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Stephan. So yeah, basically, if anybody's on YouTube, we're actually sharing our screen and we're showing a little bit of a before of what their website used to look like on the Wayback Machine. So the beauty of this is, like, we take screenshots of websites before we, redesign them, but this is actually showing not just a screenshot, but how the video that's moving in the background. So the problem with moving videos in the background of a web page, especially above the fold on the home page, there's a few problems with it, actually. So number one, they take a long time to load, depending on how long your loop is. Generally, it's like an auto play, auto loop. So it just keeps rotating, every 30 seconds into the same footage. So it takes forever. So the page speed takes a long time to load, which negatively affects SEO. But then on top of that, it might be fancy for the first time visitor to think, oh, wow, look at this. These guys, have a video, and that's cool. However, if you're a repeat visitor to a website and you look at their video again and again and again, it's really annoying for repeat visitors, and it adds no value. So this is literally just showing, their team talking to each other and looking all professional, which is great, but that's kind of the end of the benefits of it, right? Like, there's no value. They're not talking about what they do. It's all about them. It's not about their clients. It's not a case study. It's just sort of positioning them as, attorneys in this region looking all professional. So that was just the video above the fold. So that to me is a big problem.
Now, for some folks who are listening, they actually have that, and maybe they don't even have the decision-making power to get that yanked off of the website. So maybe we should give them some ammunition that they can point to if they need it, or if they want further detail before they make this decision. Maybe it's not enough what we just said. Let's send them, I'd say, to the Wistia article called Against Autoplaying Homepage Videos. And it goes into a lot of detail about why this doesn't work, the cognitive load it adds, and thus lowers the decision-making ability of the user, the results that they got from having an autoplay video on the Wistia homepage, and why they ditched it, and lots of great detail about why you should not have an autoplay homepage video. So that's, if you just Google Wistia Against Autoplaying Homepage Videos, you'll find that article. And we'll also put it in the show notes for this episode.
Yeah. And there are a lot of examples where, look, sometimes it may boost conversions. If you're a video company, it may boost your conversions because it's showcasing your work, right? But most of the time it's going to be distracting for people like the visitor. And all they really want to know is what's in it for them when they're on your homepage. They don't really care about you initially because they just want to know, can you solve my problem? And if it doesn't clearly articulate that through a video with no sound, which why would it? Because it's got no sound. Then realistically, they're not going to get an answer to, can you solve my problem? So that's probably the main reason why they don't convert, and all the other reasons that we just said as well. To me, it's like an image slider. You know how some websites, a lot of e-commerce do it too, where they have an image and it has products and some text, and then it just rotates automatically to the next set of images with different text and different call to action. To me, it's a lazy way of presenting your content. Instead, you want to just lead with your most popular content or products, whatever it is, but make sure that it's all about what's in it for them and reiterates, what is unique about your company and how you're different to your competitors and how you can help them essentially. But then, obviously we love clean design, but if you're a challenger brand, in other words, you're not a big brand that everybody knows, then you need to do more convincing above the fold on the homepage. And keeping it really clean, or just a video with no text and just your brand name, nobody really cares about that. So yeah, you need to do a lot more
Yeah.
convincing.
There's no social proof there. There's no compelling call to action. There's no value proposition that makes it clear that you are differentiated in the marketplace. It's all missing because that homepage video is so overpowering and takes up so much of the screen real estate and so much of the attention. Even if you have impact metrics or as seen on logos overlaid on top of it, you're still just soaking up so much of the cognitive load and the attention of the user with that autoplay video. Just don't do it.
Exactly. So the other thing we sort of gave him advice on, and he took it, was changing their brand name from Yosha, Cook, and Tish to just Yosha Law, right? Because it's just easier to remember. And that is their brand domain name, yoshalawfirm.com. So we just thought, again, take away that cognitive load and literally just put what's on the jar, put what's in the jar on the jar, essentially. So yeah, that's why, yeah, you'll see what we did with the branding in a minute.
Yeah, and you came up with a beautiful logo as well. So that is part of the new site design.
Yeah, we kept it very true to what we have here, but yeah, we just sort of manipulated a little bit to modernize it and have better font pairing and things like that. But then the other thing you might notice up here in the top right are these little social media icons, and what they do is leak off to social media. But look, we strongly recommend not doing that because it is a leakage point, essentially. As I've said many times, you want to bring people to your website from social media, not take them to social media from your website. So the only reason we want social media icons on a website would be in the very footer, and not on all pages, just on the home page and the blog, etc. But it's really just to let people know, if that you're current, and they can check out your following and things like that. But realistically, just keep in mind that it is a leakage point, so you don't necessarily have to put them in the footer either. But don't put them on your sales pages and things like that anywhere. It's just not worth it.
So this is all just a previous version of the website. We pulled it up with the Wayback Machine, which is archive.org. And for our user, our listener, who's a user of this tool and not that familiar with the platform of the Wayback Machine, you can actually get that selector off of the page by clicking the top right X button, and then it's just the view of that old version of the website. So looks all pretty, but with the selector, then you can slide to different time frames and say, well, what did it look like a year before that? What did it look like a year after that?
True, very, very true.
Such a handy tool. And also, if you have gotten featured in magazines or newspapers or whatever, and those articles have been removed from the site, happens a lot, you link to the old version that's archived on the Wayback Machine, and now you still have the proof that you were featured on those news outlets. So put that on your press page or your media page.
Love it. Cool. And so, look, these guys had credibility. Like, they've been recognized locally on all these different publications. They've got some really good cases. Like it says here, $7.5 million verdict. To me, there's not much clarity in that, and we'll talk about what we did instead. But yeah, it's just showing that they've won some decent cases with various large multi-million-dollar settlements.
Yeah, 20 million.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, very large settlements. So, and then they did have a link to case studies. I don't know if you helped them with guiding them on all this stuff before we got to their website, but this is a good idea, having all these results and authority boost in where we've been recognized pretty close to the top of the homepage. So that's actually quite good. Did you direct them on that, Stephan, or was that already there?
We did direct them on what to do differently about their social proof, and I don't even know if they had case studies before us, we were working together. I think they just had the settlements, and we had to really extract out of it. It was hard because they're going to people who have been injured, who have already gotten the settlement or had the verdict, and they're moving on with their lives, and say, hey, can we ask for a favor? Can we get a more than just the quote that we got from you, or more than just the video? Can we get more details around the results, the situation and everything, and build it into a proper case study? Because a case study has the background, it has the solution, and it has the results. It's not enough to say, here's the verdict in terms of the dollar value.
Yes, that's right. And so, like we said, it's good authority boosting elements near the top of the page. And this is obviously good for SEO. We're just sharing the rest of the page, which has a lot of copy on there, but there's not much design. All right, so just keep that in mind. Then obviously, Buddy, he was the original. He founded the company, and I think he's retired now, isn't he, Stephan?
Yeah. He's not actively representing cases. No.
Yeah. So, but it was good to show the person behind the brand who started the brand. I think that that's quite smart. Just visually, it just looks a bit average, but they're doing all the right things. Where they were featured over the years. Once again, it's just a little bit ugly, but that's obviously why Stephan called us in at some point. But as Stephan mentioned, he was getting great results, and there's just a photo gallery of Buddy with various people, and Brandon with various people as well, famous people. But the point is, they had some really good elements on this webpage. It just didn't look premium, so that's when we came in. But they really are experts at what they do, and we just needed to raise their brand profile. So what we generally do is give it to our brand director to create a mood board. So that's where the brand director will listen to the call recording, study the questionnaire that the client filled out, and do a lot of competitor research as well, and then figure out, right, how do we want this brand to look and feel that represents them in the best light possible to attract the right type of clients, so that they're more qualified when they come to them. So this is our brand director's mood board. We just start with a color palette overall, just to get a sense of how we want this website to feel. And then we do the color breakdown and show what we want as the call to action color and the percentages of colors throughout the pages. Then we talk through the fonts and the font pairing and how we incorporate the fonts with, mixing it with some various elements and call to actions and things like that. Then we just show how we could potentially use some background elements and design elements, mix in the fonts and graphics with photos. By the way, what we do is just present ideas to the client, and then the client gives us feedback on what they think is what they like the most, essentially. So the textures, we're showing just little background textures that we're going to use sparingly throughout, and then the photography direct.
And if you're only listening, you're not watching the video of this, you got to see how amazing this mood board looks. It's so top shelf. It is so elegant and upscale. It's just amazing, and I think it's a great best practice example for you to use if you're going to do any kind of redesign or revamp of your website.
Thank you. And so what we're doing a lot these days is, for photography direction, we do give photography directions. So what it means is, if you hire a photographer, this will be how we will utilize those photos on the website. So we can give them a lot of color treatment to match the brand after we get the photos back from the photographer. However, what we're doing a lot these days is using AI, which is such a powerful tool for us as designers to take, let's say, 20 photos, and they don't need to be professional, but if a client comes to us, they say, I want to do a photo shoot, we'll give them direction like this, and they can either go to the photographer or give us 20 photos of them, any angle. It doesn't matter how good the lighting is, doesn't matter what they're wearing, and we can upload this mood board to our custom GPT that we've created. And we use a couple of different tools. We use Canva, we use Midjourney, and we use ChatGPT to get various prompts from this type of imagery, and then we produce images from that. So it's just another alternative. Instead of spending, say, $5,000 on a photo shoot, we can do that with AI. And the results, Stephan, we've done with a few clients now, they're pretty incredible, aren't they?
They are. It's really impressive. Really impressive.
It's just amazing.
And the old AI adage, but it's old programmer adage, really. It's garbage in, garbage out. Well, gold in, gold out. If you come up with great prompts and great inputs, great source material, you're going to end up with an amazing output. And I've seen so many great examples of your handiwork with AI. It's really impressive. It's so much better than what you'd normally see with these kind of off-the-shelf tools that will create just headshots that are not inspired, not they look stiff, and it has to do with the garbage in, garbage out problem.
Exactly, yeah. And we've been refining that process, and the reason we use 3 different tools is to get it really refined and down to the exact look and feel, the color palette, the lighting. Yeah, we sort of go to a lot of detail, but yeah, it's super helpful.
By the way, we'll sneak peek of what's coming in a future episode. So we're going to do a case study, tear down or whatever you want to call it, of whatismyipaddress.com. Chris Parker is the founder. And we ended up not using any of the photos from his photo shoot that he did recently on our, nudging him to do so, to get a photo shoot done. We actually got better images from you using AI than from that photo shoot. And so that's plastered everywhere on his personal site, Rebrand, on his Privacy Crisis site, and on the About page on whatismyipaddress.com. Really, really beautiful work.
It's incredible, isn't it? I'm just blown away how good AI is when it comes to creating photos, if you've got the right prompts and tools. But yeah, we'll show you that on the next case study episode. Because Chris was just amazed. He said it's so uncanny. They look exactly like me, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah. So there's our mood board. And like I said, it's just all different suggestions for every aspect of the brand, from, graphic layouts to little icons and explainers that we want to use throughout, different page layouts, etc. So we just send that to the client with a walkthrough video from the brand director explaining why she's done what she's done, and we get the client's feedback before we start designing the website. But in this case, the client was very happy with this direction, and so then we put it together in the website. So we're looking at the live website now. This is the page that we designed. This was their photo shoot before AI, so we didn't have the luxury of using AI, but they did a great photo shoot anyway. At one point, Stephan, I think you gave some feedback, and I think the photos were too photoshopped. Why did you just want to talk through that? Why did you say change the photos?
Oh, so this is what they ended up going back to. So he put one in that looked overpowering, and it was just him, and was too close of a photo of him, and it didn't show other team members, and I just recommended that he switch that back, and he did. But also notice the impact metrics there, really impressive. You're already pre-suaded before you even start scrolling.
Yeah, and I just refreshed the page to show you that when you land on the page, they do animate, because we want to attract attention to the metrics, and that's the purpose of having large metrics, because they do grab your attention. And this is huge credibility. 172 years combined legal experience. I mean, they started in 1960 or thereabouts, right? That's when Buddy started the company. 100 plus verdicts, hundreds of millions of recovered settlements, and 98% success rate. That is a key metric that, as a prospect, you want to know that they're going to win your case. So when you see 98, it's believable. It's not 100, but no one's perfect. And obviously these guys, like most attorneys, they won't charge you unless they win the case, which I think is, really smart.
Yeah. And reviews and ratings are really crucial for law firms, and for a lot of other kinds of businesses too, especially local businesses. So if you have a 5.0 stars average, and there's not a single bad review in there, that looks not credible. That looks artificial and manipulated. Whereas if you have 4.9 stars and you have a couple of cranks that are in there who weren't even customers or clients, just saying I called these guys on a weekend and they didn't even answer the phone, how rude, and whatever. I don't know. I'm just being hypothetical, but that is not uh, actually bad for you. It's good for you. Like you can get these 1-star reviews removed many times because they're not customers or clients, or they're being defamatory or something. And there are companies out there that specialize in removing those 1-star reviews. But if you remove all of them and you have only 5-star reviews, that looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. However, sometimes you can't help but just get 5-star reviews like they have for their good.
Sometimes you're just perfect.
Sometimes it's just perfect, exactly. But it's an absolute fact that if you have like 4.7-star rating, it's more believable than 5-star. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, once again, we've just sort of talked about what's above the fold. We haven't even talked about the copywriting, but that's also something that's super important. And you'll notice, it's
Yes.
probably the most obvious thing on the page. We've purposely made it kind of tonal blue so that it puts more focus onto the copy and just to give their brand a unique, memorable look and feel, as opposed to it just looking like everybody else's. But like Stephan alluded to before, we did rebrand their logo. So we kept the same sort of feeling that they had in their original logo, like the Y. We just manipulated it so that it became, the Y and L for Yosha Law.
It's just so classy. Great job. Great job. And then the brand elements are with the logo are subtly incorporated in other places in the site design too. So yeah, really, really nice stuff. Nice job.
Cool. And we'll show you the rest of the homepage, but we'll talk about the really important stuff that the SEO guys, Stephan's team at netconcepts.com did, because this is what got them like the incredible results with the, crazy.
Part of the secret sauce. It's not so secret since we're talking about it. But, we actually covered this on a previous case study. This was with Ware Landscaping. And I think that was episode 503. Anyways, we'll put it in the show notes. But the point is that when you have different locations and you have different, in this case, practice areas or services, if we're talking about just a general business, that is pretty much table stakes. So you create a separate page for each major location that you're serving. So Indianapolis gets covered as a location, Fort Wayne, Gary, South Bend, not all on one location's page, but separate pages. Here's where the magic comes in. When you have a combination of both the practice area and the location, so let's say we're talking about Indianapolis car accidents, we are talking about Gary truck accidents, or South Bend truck accidents. Each of those is a separate page with unique, valuable content that helps persuade and build rapport and comfort with the reader, the visitor. It's not just SEO copy that has a big bunch of repetition of the keyword phrase in there, because that's not effective. Not effective, obviously, for conversion. And it also is such an old school SEO tactic that hasn't worked for well over a decade. You just don't do that.
And talk through the links within the page.
Yeah, so the way that you spend your link authority is through your internal linking structure. So by having these location plus practice area pages linked in the top nav in the dropdown, as you saw if you're watching the video, and also weaved into the copy and into the sidebar nav on each of the relevant pages. So once you're inside of, let's say, a location such as South Bend, or you're inside of a practice area such as a truck accident, then having those related pages that are the combination of the service plus location, working that in as well, it further reinforces the importance of those pages. They're not just there for SEO reasons. They're there as a helpful guide for the visitor. So if somebody lands on, let's say, the truck accidents page, they can easily get to their location from within the copy. Or if they land on the location page, they can get to the specific type of accident that they were involved in.
There you go. Yeah, so smart. And yeah, it's a lot of extra effort to do this, but this is a game changer for, attracting more more leads. And obviously, if the page,
Yeah, and you see there's the infographics. There's a lot of really valuable copy there. There's a lot of social proof, a lot of elegant design elements. These are not just whipped together, like dump a bunch of SEO copy on the page. Like, look at all those infographics. Like, this is really elegant stuff, and this is one of those combo pages. Indianapolis truck accidents. This is not one of the top level practice area pages. Ton of effort goes into creating a page like this.
exactly. So yeah, and look how long it is. It's incredible. So yeah, there's a lot of effort that goes into that. So we just talked about the top nav. Now we'll just go sort of.
By the way, there's one other thing you just scrolled past. If you go back for a second, I just want to point it out from an SEO perspective. This is a secret weapon. Look at all these Q&As. So FAQs at the bottom of your service pages, or in this case, a combination service and location page. It is a secret weapon. It is really, really crucial in the age of AI and LLMs that are providing different kinds of answers than what you get from just a regular Google search, to have this. And it will also help with Google search, because if you're quoted with in a featured snippet, or you're quoted in an AI answer, an AI overview from Google, and also then there's AI mode, which a lot of people are going to be switching to in Google as time goes on, having these short, succinct answers to a whole ton of questions that are relevant to that particular service, or service and location, or location. Really, it's critical. And then schema markup to mark up these pages so that the LLM and Google are very clear what's what on the page. That is crucial.
Wow. So that's the future of optimization from a traffic perspective. I'm not going to call it SEO. Is it called SEO or AIO, or what is it these days?
Yeah, there's many acronyms out there: GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, AI Optimization, whatever. I like this version. SEO equals Search Everywhere Optimization.
Search everywhere. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, trademark Stephan Spencer.
Right? Because you could be searching on TikTok. A lot of young people are turning to TikTok for answers to their questions. You could be using ChatGPT. You could be using Siri or Alexa or whatever. And I try to say that quietly because it'll start chiming in on our episode.
Yes, Greg is awesome. Is that what you asked it?
Yes.
Just kidding.
That's the default answer for Alexa.
So now we're on the homepage, and underneath these incredible impact metrics that boost, their credibility and authority, we have some video case studies, and we have reiterating the 5-star reviews, and then we have testimonials. Now, we split tested this. We originally had, I think we had this section next because we wanted to segment people into these 3 services.
Which section is this section? You remember, some people are listening.
Okay, it's just a sort of our services overview, like track accidents, car accidents, and then slip and fall accidents, for instance, right? So it's just 3
on the homepage.
We're on the homepage, yeah, exactly. So, and what we did, and we had this section as well underneath. But what we did through split testing was moved all this social proof just beneath the fold, essentially. And we found that they had more people convert in by doing this option, right? So yeah, split testing is really basic. It's really just taking an idea and sending traffic 50% to one version of the page, 50% to the other version of the page. You run it for a few weeks, depends how much traffic you have, and you just pick the winner, and then you just replace the page with that new version. If the new version is the winner, if the old version is the winner, you just keep the old page as is. And so we did a lot of optimizing on this website. And yeah, this was one of the winners, just bringing that social proof closer to the top of the page. And I think that's what a lot of businesses could learn from that little split test. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to be more sophisticated about it, you can certainly buy a platform that does not just split testing, but multivariate testing too. But you have to have more traffic, more conversions happening in order to get statistically significant sample sizes for making decisions. But there's VWO, Visual Website Optimizer. There's Optimizely. There are a number of platforms out there that you could use to do your testing. if you want to get more sophisticated with it.
Exactly. But yeah, it's we just on that, if you are going to do conversion optimization, don't change too many things at the same time, because you really don't know what worked. So just try and do one split test at a time, Yeah. So okay, now I wanted to show you this. So if we go back to the before design and we just have a look what they had here, $7.5 million verdict, $5 million settlement. That sounds impressive, but what does it actually mean? There's not much clarity around it. Let me explain, right? So what we did instead was we let them know what the insurance company offered them. So in this case, the insurance company offered them pre-trial just $300,000. Then they went to trial and the verdict was 7.5 million, right? So there's more clarity around what this number actually means. Because if you just say a big metric like 20 million, whatever, doesn't mean much. But if you know the insurance company in this case only offered $50,000, well, then wow, that's impressive that Yosha Law got them 20 million out of a $50,000 offer.
And another thing too, I want to point out about the copy before that section. It's like, here are some of our victories. Now, there's a little secret weapon here, a little secret to copywriting that is so effective. And that is putting words that make you feel like you're winning into the copy. And then people are more inclined to make powerful decisions and take action. So there was a study done where they had people fill out a questionnaire. I learned about this from Vanessa Van Edwards. I'll include in the show notes the little clip of her explaining this. But basically, two different versions of these instructions that were given to candidates or test subjects. One version said just regular, here's a questionnaire, fill it out, da-da-da-da-da. And then the other version had, in order to win the questionnaire, here's what you need to do, and different different keywords that were evoking that feeling of winning and being successful were dropped into the copy. Just 2 or 3 of those was enough, and it massively improved not only their performance on the questionnaire or the quiz, it also improved their happiness and satisfaction levels while they were doing it. So so many things were improved just by sprinkling in a few occurrences of these keywords of like winning and victory and so forth. So it's no accident that we're talking about, we've taken on the largest insurance companies in America and won. Here are some of our victories, ... And then, with that framing, here are the verdicts, the settlement numbers, and so forth.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like persuasion, Robert Cialdini's approach as well. Yeah, very cool. Okay, and so that's how we handled these, and these link off to actual case studies, which we'll get to in a minute, because one of the biggest changes we did, and because these guys did the brand script with your company, right, Stephan? And what we're talking about there is the story brand SB7 framework, and it's called a brand script. But it really just sort of walks the customer through why their offer is important to the customer, essentially, just in a big nutshell, right? And so the big change in this website from the copy and the branding perspective was switching it, and Brandon said this himself in the awesome interview that you did with him, that this whole website was about him, and now it's all about what's in it for them. So that was the massive brand shift with the copy and the look and feel.
By the way, just to give some additional resources for our listener, if they're interested in learning more about how to do a brand script, of course, read the book by Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand, or listen to the audiobook if you prefer that. But here is a actual legit, real brand script. We can't give you the one for Yosha Law. We didn't get permission to share that. It's confidential. But I did get permission from another shared client that we did a redesign for, Border Buddy, and that is on episode number 427. Episode 427, where I interviewed the founder of Border Buddy, Graham Robbins. He gave us permission to share the brand script that we created for him that was used in the redesign that Studio One did. That is in the episode show notes. So that's at marketingspeak.com/427. So definitely check that out because you need a great example of a brand script in order to do this right.
Yeah, very cool. And so in that brand script, it's really saying that you have two choices for your prospects. So one, they can go with a competitor and they're not going to get an awesome outcome. Or two, why they should come to you and the outcome that they're going to get is going to be so much better. You kind of have to unpack that in the brand script. And that's what this little section on the page is all about. There are two types of personal injury lawyers. Option one, your personal injury attorney is competent enough to get the job done. But what it's saying pretty much is you're just another number and they'll just try and get rid of you and get to the next case study as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're happy to get a settlement if it's going to save them a ton of time.
Exactly. Versus if you go with Yosha, then, we're going to fight for you. We're going to take care of you, your family and your life. And, you're going to have a wonderful life if you choose us, basically, because they care about you a whole lot more in a nutshell, right? It's not that articulate, but that's what we're trying to.
I like the term advocate. They've got that in the copy. We're an advocate for justice for you.
Yeah. Exactly. And so the other part of this whole brand repositioning for Yosha Law is to show how, like, the case studies of their clients, how they connect and really reiterate how they're different. So what we'll do is show you one of the case studies. We'll go to that. Yeah. And the rest of the page, it's got a really cool video here. It's a spin selling video, which is an acronym by best-selling book by Neil Rackham called Spin Selling, which is really just letting people know that you understand S, the situation they're in, P, the problems they face because of their situation, I, the implications if they, don't address the cause of the problem or if they choose the wrong solution. And then N is the need, which is essentially what's unique about your solution, how you can help them. So if you watch this video on the homepage, that's what the brand script was that Brandon, read in this video. So it's pretty powerful, but just wanted to say this case study, there's a few, but I just wanted to show you this one in particular. And I'm not going to play the video in its entirety, but it really just shows her story of the client that they helped. And then you'll see Brandon comes over to the house and he's just talking to her on a deep level. He's out in the backyard on the swing with her and talking through it. It's just really powerful. And all of these are just showing the emotional side of the prospect. And then when a prospect to this website is watching the video and reading their story, they can see themselves in it. And yeah, it's just super powerful. So this was the whole brand positioning piece where we've spun it from being all about Yosha into, what's in it for them and how he helped others and getting that emotional hook. So yeah, and there's a whole case study page for each one of these videos as well, showing how much they were offered and, how much they were rewarded, etc. But yeah, pretty incredible pages because then with these case study pages for individual case studies, you can put it into your email marketing and your social media and wherever else you're driving traffic to your website. Pretty powerful.
Yeah. This is such a expansive approach. It's like really gets you into their world, the client and what their situation was, what they were facing, and in many cases the odds were really stacked against them, and then they got a great outcome. It didn't make them whole, so to speak, but it really made it a lot easier for them to cope with the new normal.
Absolutely. And if you're a business thinking about, creating a case study could be a lot of work. It is compared to just putting up a testimonial, but you don't need that many. You could get by with even say 3 to 6 case studies, and you can use them for years to come because they are so powerful. So yeah, that was the way we approached the the flipping the switch, the script, I should say, from focusing on them to it's all about the customer. So we've talked about the pages, the SEO side of it. Let's have a look at the blog, because I think this is something as well that we put a lot of effort into. Stephan, this was your idea to have categories of the blog posts relating to their individual services like car accident, motorcycle accident, etc. And then when you go into each one of these categories, you can, it makes it easier for people to find relevant topics for that category. But then you go into the individual blog posts. And what we did here from a conversion optimization perspective was put a sticky form. I know we're on desktop, but we're just showing that at the moment. But we did optimization on the mobile, which we'll show you shortly as well. But when you scroll, the form, like the call to action to review my case form, is sticky, even though you're scrolling through the rest of the blog post. So yeah, that was a huge conversion booster. So that's an idea anybody watching this can see.
Yeah, so you have on the two sides, you have two sticky elements on each side. That form is on the left side, and then the article table of contents is on the right side, and it doesn't scroll away, so they can easily jump to different sections of the article without a lot of effort. And also, just another little nuance that makes a difference from an SEO standpoint, if you go to the top of the article, it doesn't say when the article was written, it says when it was last updated.
Yeah. Explain that. Why is that?
Well, because if it was written in 2017, but it was updated 2 months ago with a lot of new information and new stats and more contemporary examples and so forth, that's what really matters to the user, and that's actually what matters more to Google. So a 2017 article that hasn't been touched is obsolete in many cases. It's dated information. It's not going to rank as well. But if you continually update it, and that's what's featured as the last updated date instead of the original published date, now you look way more relevant and timely.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. There's a lot of little tricks you do that for SEO on blog, like the breadcrumbs and this little knowledge panel section at the bottom. It all boosts SEO conversions, doesn't it? Why does this help?
Yeah, so the bylines at the bottom there for Brandon, if you think about like this concept of EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, that's an acronym that comes from Google. That the quality raters at Google had to rate websites on that they were visiting, and then that went in as training data for the machine learning algorithms. So if you demonstrate more of that EAT, or experience and expertise and all that, in the content of the website, including on blog posts, right? So Brandon has won awards. He's got all these recognitions and da 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 da. So that's featured at the bottom of the page to help set the tone of this page. Is not just an AI generated piece of content that was just spun out in 2 minutes. No, this was written by Brandon, and it's really high quality, and here's his reputation to go along with it.
Understood. Yeah, very cool. Speaking of his reputation, one thing that you introduced him to, or you gave him the idea of, was writing a book. Talk through that.
Yes, I didn't just give him the idea, I really pushed him to do it. He was not, this was not even on his radar at all. But now he's one of the very few attorneys in the country who has a book, and it's like a kind of part memoir, part like really great examples of cases and lessons learned and so forth. So it's a great book. He didn't have to write it. I connected him up with a ghostwriter that I've used for books in the past. And she did a great job. And they have an audiobook as well as an actual print book. So you can buy it on Amazon. And it's not just a free download ebook. This is like a real legit book. And he's got a history behind him that's really interesting. Before he was an attorney, he was a running back in college football, and he was very successful. So he had a lot of promise to even maybe go to the NFL or something. So there's a whole story here which is expounded on in the book a bit, and it's in the about page and the timeline and all this sort of stuff. But he has a book that really positions him differently from most attorneys, and it really puts him in another tier. So this is the landing page for that book. He was giving it away to prospects and clients and stuff as well, and that was really helpful in kind of setting his preeminence positioning before signing a new client. Yeah, it was really good, really good.
Incredible. Yeah, check out the landing page as well. It's got a lot of authority boosting things on there. So yeah, it converts well. But also, yeah, he's even got his case study, just one of examples of how he helps a client, which was the same case study that we showed you earlier. So yeah, when you do a book landing page, just think about what's in it for them and why it's important to somebody to read what they're going to get out of it, and then back it up with a lot of proof elements. So that's what we do for book landing pages. But yeah, that's what I mean, Stephan. Like, you give clients so many ideas more than just boosting their traffic. It's more about boosting their authority as well. So yeah, it's just very unique. But so let's have a look at some of the actual. We'll look at the mobile, then we'll go to the results. So what we did on their mobile for the hamburger menu, we realized they were getting a lot of traffic on their mobile views. So for the hamburger menu, we played around with this homepage section a lot, the call to action at the top and making all that sticky. But the hamburger menu itself, normally clients will just have like a standard list of whatever's on their top nav of their main desktop website. However, from doing split tests and looking at user behavior on Microsoft Clarity and having a look at the Google Analytics data and the pathways of where people go, we realized that people just wanted to get to the car accidents and the truck accidents and the case studies, etc. So you'll notice the navigation order on here is different to on their actual desktop view, and we've highlighted the things that we want to highlight first. And you can scroll through if you're looking on YouTube, you'll see that you can actually scroll through all of their different cases that they handle, like their practice areas and the case studies as well. So yeah, pretty powerful, but this really boosted their conversions. And yeah.
So why don't you explain what this tool is? Because it's so handy. You don't have to whip out different kinds of phones. Probably only have one phone. So it's an Android or an iPhone or whatever, and it's a certain screen size. But you can see, if you're watching the video, you can see multiple screen sizes. You can see different kinds of devices emulated here, all on one page in one screen that you can navigate between. And this uses a particular tool that you found. What's the name of the tool and how do you get it?
Responsive Viewer is just a Chrome, what do you call it? Like an add-on for
extension.
There you go. So yeah, Responsive Viewer is what it's called. And it has all different types of phones and tablets preloaded, and you can just select which ones you want to display for your testing. So we know most people have iPhones. We have different size iPhones. There's a Pixel Pro in there as well, and there's iPad Air, and I mean they've got everything in here, but we just look at the most popular devices. But yeah, thanks, Stephan. It's pretty powerful, and you can just scroll through, every page at once, so you can see how it looks on all different screen sizes. So yeah, obviously the website needs to be responsive for every screen size, because you just don't know what size people are going to be viewing your website on. But yeah, cool. So that's how we handled the hamburger menu. And this was a game changer. Like, we do this now on a lot of websites, and when we're doing conversion optimization, we've never seen a negative result. We do this on e-commerce as well, where we display their best, most popular products, like the highest selling products first, and you show images of them. Social proof is a must. But yeah, it's pretty powerful doing that with the hamburger menu. So the results, Stephan, do you want to run through this?
Well, let's first of all show people let's go to the case studies that are public on both your site and my site. Yeah, let's start there. And then also, I think we should play that little clip that you found from the interview where I interviewed Brandon. So
let's play that.
Yeah, just this month, we are at 16 signed cases, still at about 9 days.
Wow.
But
that's outstanding. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And every case it has to meet a certain criteria. And they're all good quality cases where people need our help. Before I came into the firm, and realized that we needed an entire revamp. I think on the year, our firm signed 12 motor vehicle accident cases on the whole year. Mm-hmm. Just this month, we've signed 12 motor vehicle accident cases, and the other 4 are premise liability cases, and that's just in 1 month. So we have essentially outperformed an entire year of case intake in 1 month. This is long-term success.
Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty incredible, the results that just came out of Brandon's mouth. So basically, yeah, it's just saying that, you know, the traffic and conversions in general have just been through the roof compared to the previous website.
Now one other thing that is not in that recording, but I added to the intro. So that was recorded in late-ish December, about 2/3 into the month of December. At the end of the month, they actually signed a bunch of additional cases, and they got up to 23, which was a massive record-breaking month for them. So 23, not just 16, because the 16 was fantastic, as you heard, but to get up to 23 at the end of the month, that was phenomenal.
Amazing. Yeah. And this is the case study on your website, but you did so many other things for them as well, like the social media and all that, right?
Yeah. So what we're looking at right now, if you're listening, is a case study page, public case study on the new StephanSpencer.com, designed by Studio One, of course, and a lot of great results, as you can see, and improvements and percentages and up into the right graphs and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of tangible evidence that we delivered for Yosha Law, but also incorporated into that is the case study episode that we did, where I interviewed Brandon, some additional kind of context around things like the book and how that came about and so forth. That's all part of this case study. And then you did a case study page on your site as well. Do you want to show that?
Sure. Yeah. And so we're really just highlighting the fact that, you know, this was a result of Brandon investing in the website, the videos, the copyright, and the SEO. So
yeah. Why don't you read the quote from Brandon?
I invested heavily in my new website, videos, copywriting, and SEO, and I'm thrilled with the result. Our traffic and inquiries are at all-time highs month after month. Yeah, so 12x increase in conversions overall. So 60 new leads in the first 3 months, and yet over 200% daily traffic increases. That's from Stephan's team. Yeah.
Actually, it was 60. I think it was actually 60 new cases signed, that's the metric for success, not just inquiries. So they get a lot of inquiries and they're not really the right fit, and then they pass them on or pass on them. And so the signed cases, that was the real difference maker for them. And most law firms, that's the needle that they're kind of judging success on, is a number of signed cases per month.
Incredible. Yeah. And then, we did a full brand style guide for his brand based on the new look and feel, so that he could then take that and use that across all of their marketing. I do have it here. So it's important for most companies, if you are using multiple creatives, then put a brand style guide together so you have all the do's and don'ts for your logo and your color palette and, however you want to be represented. You'll just make sure you have a consistent look and feel. It has the color breakdowns with the hex codes. And if you have print material, you can have the CMYK breakdown, photography, direction, like pretty much everything that we put in the mood board at the start, we put into the final brand style guide with the final elements. So all creatives, from blog posts to podcast images, blah, blah, blah. Everybody can see how you want the brand to be represented in the real world. So that's a brand style guide. Yeah, pretty important.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you. So do you want to go over these results as well, or is that all in the case study on your page?
Yeah, so these are just updated results of more recent. So if you look at the organic traffic and the organic keywords and so forth, most of the time it's up and to the right, right? So there's definitely correlation between number of keywords that if you scroll down to the keywords that they're ranking for, and the organic traffic that they get because of it, and the lead volume. And like if you're tracking your calls with call rail or call tracking metrics, something that allows you to associate your marketing initiatives to the calls that are coming in, that's really important. So anyways, this is all compelling stuff up into the right graphs and things. And if you have tracking in place, you want to extract out the sort of stuff to get you a good overview of what's working and when it's working, when it's not working. Because, the old adage, what gets measured gets managed. It's not just about looking in your Google Analytics.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, incredible results. And yeah, I think they deserve it. Like, they're incredible lawyers. They really care. They're passionate about their clients. And now that we've sort of showcased, all of that passion, and they are human, and we show the human side. One last thing, let's show these about pages, Stephan, if we have time. Because obviously Buddy has a lot of history. This was Stephan's idea to, normally we just do a timeline for a brand, right? But Stephan said, this guy has an incredible, history. And so if you have a look at all the elements on this page, what did you call it before, Stephan? A wall of...
It's a tribute wall, really. I mean, that's what I was envisioning when Brandon has so much love and respect and like awe for his dad, who was, just an incredible force for good in the world, and a huge inspiration to so many people. Brandon, of course, being one of those people. That it was a great, I think, tribute to him to make a virtual tribute wall on the website. So not just an about page with a timeline, but really tribute to Buddy. This is, how much I respect and love and care about you, Dad. I'm making sure that you have the most incredible page here, or section of your site. It spills over, it's not just on the Buddy Yosha page under the about, but it's also on the main timeline as well, on the main about page. So there's multiple places where you really get the sense for this guy's stature and how much love there is in the Indianapolis and Indiana area for him. And he's really an inspiration to a lot of lawyers, including competitors.
Yeah, what a history. Milestones are just amazing. So yeah, a lot of achievements. And yeah, very well respected. So yeah, he's a super lawyer. Not many people get that title, apparently. Yeah, so cool. So that's the human side that we've injected into this website. And yeah, the results are pretty damn good.
It's definitely a huge extreme makeover before and after that I think our listener and viewer can apply so many lessons from into their own business, whatever, even if it's not a services business. There's so many takeaways that they could get. What would be some of the key takeaways that you want to reiterate as we wrap up this episode?
Absolutely. Just look at your brand positioning and your price point, and are you represented in the light that in the best light possible for your offer? And I would say over time, you're going to get more case studies, more social proof, more credibility, more milestones on your journey, and just keep adding them back onto your website so that, yeah, you're always completely relevant, and you just keep, amping up your authority level. So, then you'll just keep attracting better clients as a result of that.
And so if you're wanting to work with a world-class web design firm or SEO firm, there's Studio One Design for the web design development side of it, and for conversion optimization. And then for SEO, there's Net Concepts. There's my company. So why don't you give also link or mention of the website for your book that is maybe already out, depending on the air date of this episode.
Yeah, so next level website design. Thank you so much, Stephan, for mentioning that. And there's a case study in there for Yosha Law. There's also a case study for Stephan Spencer for personal brand. So yeah, check that out if you don't mind. I'd love that. Nextlevelwebsitedesign.com. And yeah, the studio1design.com is our agency website. And yeah, what about you, Stephan? Where can people go to check your team out and you?
Yeah. So netconcepts.com is our agency website. stephanspencer.com is my personal brand website. And if you're wanting to check out the websites for either of the two podcasts, there's this show, Marketing Speak. So that's at marketingspeak.com. And then Get Yourself Optimized, which is a personal development podcast, is at getyourselfoptimized.com. All Studio One designed websites.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, listener. Thank you, viewer. Do something with this. This isn't just edutainment. This is meant to be actionable advice, actionable insights that you can apply to your business and to your personal site and whatever initiatives that you're doing online so that you can make a bigger difference in the world. So get out there and make it a better world. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.